Hey, hello everyone, and welcome to our Digital Finance and Operation module wise training series. So in this new episode of our procurement and sourcing module, we will discuss about the purchase requisition document. So in the initial level of the video, we will discuss about some prerequisite for the purchase requisition, and in the next part of this video we will discuss why we create a purchase requisition and how to create a purchase requisition in the Digital Finance and Operation, and in the end of this video we will successfully create a purchase order from this purchase requisition. So make sure you watch the complete episode to understand about the purchase requisition document. So let's first start with the purchase requisition prerequisites. So first we move to the procurement and sourcing module. So inside the module we have procurement and sourcing. First is the all purchase order. We have already discussed about the purchase order in our previous episodes. So let's collapse this one and open the purchase requisition. Under purchase requisition we have all this option. So for now we have just discussed about the all purchase requisition form. So yeah, this is a purchase requisition from where you can create a purchase requisition. This purchase requisition form is a global form. So for example, if you have created purchase requisition in any legal entity, you can see that purchase requisition in the purchase requisition form. So for example, currently I am in a USMF legal entity and we have created 0021 as a purchase requisition. So let me change the USMF legal entity to USRT. And still we can see that we have the same purchase requisition under the USRT legal entity also. So let me again move to our USMF entity. Yeah, and one more information about the purchase. Let's say they have one more speciality. Even the purchase requisition itself a global record which we viewed in the all legal entity, but it's get into the purchase requisition line. Under purchase requisition line, so you will see that in the line level of purchase requisition have the buying legal entity option. So you can change the legal entity within the purchase requisition line also. So why we have that option or flexibility to change the buying legal entity in the line level? Let's say you have an office and you wanted to purchase some laptops or computer desktops, and you have requested to your preparer who is a part of our HQ legal entity. So preparer go ahead and create a purchase requisition on behalf of requester. So preparer add this desktop and monitor in the purchase requisition line and choose the relevant company, like you can select here USRT legal entity. So by using this buying legal entity option, preparer in the HQ office can create a one purchase requisition with different line of laptops and monitor for a specific legal entity. So this purchase requisition later getting into the approval or workflow for the managers to approve. Here we have workflow option in the under purchase requisition. Workflow under the purchase requisition is a mandatory. There is no option to turn off the workflow in the purchase requisition. So this will go to your manager approval, and then manager approve your workflow, then this release them into the purchase order. And when the purchase order will release into the relevant legal entity, even though if you are creating the USMF legal entity for one line and the second line for the laptop you are created for the USRT legal entity, and you submit the workflow, and once your workflow is approved, then your purchase order will be released according to the legal entities. So we are going back to our main form. So why we create a purchase requisition is not always for an internal purpose. So here we discuss about the example of creating purchase for the internal purpose like monitor and laptops. It can even be used for the procured inventory stock also. So for some organization, they have process like first they create a purchase requisition and then they create a purchase order from this purchase requisition, but it's all depend on your company or your requirement. Not every company create a purchase requisition and based on the creating PO. Some organization directly creating POs. So let's first start with our prerequisitions. So the first thing here you can see that our new button is disabled or grayed out. We can't create any new purchase requisition. So this is enable. We need to create we need to assign some person in our user level. So let me duplicate this tab. Let's under the module we have system admin option. Under system admin users, we select the user option. Here our user is a admin, so we open our admin user. So here you can see that under the person tab we have not assigned any person. So let me first create a person. So to create a person, we again duplicate this tab. I'll show you how you can assign this person, or how you can create a person. Person is nothing but employees. I need to assign my employer name under my user. So under the HR module, under the human resource HR module, under worker we have employees. So we are currently create a worker or employee over here. So here we click on this new button. Let's quickly create a new employee. So assign my name. My employee start date, I take it as 18 and click on hire button. So currently I have created a new worker for the complete the prerequisite. We are creating a new complete new module wise series for the HR module also. So don't worry about this. For time being, to just complete this prerequisite, I am creating the employee. So I just assign search with my name. So assign, I have assigned this name. So let's save this one. So to get the information about the HR module, make sure you subscribe to our channel. You again go to our purchase requisition, refresh this form. So now you can see that our new button is enable to create a new purchase requisition. So we have completed our one prerequisite. Our second prerequisite is a workflow. So I'll also show you the workflow, how you can enable the workflow. We have already discussed about the workflow in our previous episode, so you can check out that episode also. We have discussed about the purchase order workflow. So it's same like purchase order, but we have different name for the purchase requisition workflow. So we'll again go to the procurement sourcing module. So inside the purchase order, under the setup, we have procurement sourcing workflow. So we'll click on this workflow option. So here we have all the workflow which will be used in the procurement and sourcing module. So our purchase requisition, yeah. So second one, purchase requisition review, is a workflow for the purchase requisition, and the association, you can see that it's a organization wide. So this workflow is not specific to any legal entity. We have created purchase order workflow which is specific to the legal entities. So we click on the purchase requisition. We are already created purchase requisition. So if you want a complete episode for the purchase requisition review, let me know in the comment section. I will definitely create a new video for the purchase requisition review. So for now, time being, I am using our existing purchase order review workflow, and here I also add my username under the user section for the approval. So we can also approve this workflow from our side. So under the versions, let me check the version. You have selected the latest or not? Yeah. So we have selected is our name showing modified. Okay. So I just close this one. Our both two prerequisite is done now. So let me again move to our purchase section. We have added our employee ID in our user, and the second one we have enabled the purchase requisition workflow. So let's start with creating a new purchase requisition. So let me click on this new button. So here I put the name as a PR for let's say general supply or supplies. Requested date, here we have the requested system automatically take the current date. So we have selected requested date. It's accounting date. Accounting date will be used for the accounts purpose. And the second, the last one is select default project. So here you can select the tick this option and select the specific legal entity. So for currently I am not using any specific to any legal entities. So I just click on this OK button, and the purchase requisition number, it's auto created from the purchase requisition number sequence. So our purchase requisition is created now. So here prepare a name, in by default my name, because it's fetched from our employees. Inside our user we have assigned this name under our specific user. So because of this, it will automatically inherited from our user. It's my employee name. The next one is the status of our purchase requisition. It's in draft state. Here one more thing you can notice, that in our purchase order we have option. If we disable this purchase order workflow, our purchase order will be automatically changed from draft to approved. But for the purchase requisition, it's anyways draft. We can change or disable the workflow. Next one is a purchase reason. In the reason, we have set it as a general supplies. We are creating the purchase requisition for general supply. So let me add the line under the purchase requisition. Here first, in the first tab, we can see that in the requester and preparer, it's same name, because it's taking the name from the preparer. So it's by default, it's taking the same name as a requester also. So preparer is not necessary need to have the person who is actually creating the purchase requisition. So for example, I am a preparer and creating a purchase requisition for other user or other department members. So as a requester, I have changed the name. So I just click on this drop down option. So here in the requester, we can see only our name. We can't see any other user's name. So to achieve this, our requester name of other users, we have one setup which is we need to turn on. So we again go to our next tab. Under procurement and sourcing, here we have the policies. So under the policies, we have purchase requisition permission. For this policy option, we will create a complete episode in future for this specific policy option of the purchase requisition, because it's a large topic. So for now, I have selected my username, and for my specific preparer, we add the requester option. I have selected Jody. Again, adding 2-3 requester over here. Add Ted also. And we have third one is Sarah. Okay, so we just save this option. Again go to our purchase requisition, refresh this form. Okay, we again click on this line. So now I am assuming that I am creating a purchase requisition on behalf of Sarah. Okay, so I am just click on this add line. It's automatically taking requester as a my name. So I have changed this name. This time you can see that we can find a multiple option in the worker name. So Sarah is our requester, so we selected Sarah as a option, and here in the USMF legal entity, it's automatically taking Sarah's default legal entity. You can also change, for example, if your worker is working on the multiple legal entity, so you can also select the specific legal entity for which, like for example, Sarah is working on the USRT and USMF, both two legal entities, so you can select their working legal entity accordingly. So to enable this their legal entities, we can let me show you how you can enable the worker for the multiple legal entities. So let me search for Sarah. Okay, Sarah Thomas. We select the employee. So here we have option of employment history. So we click on the employment history. So currently Sarah is working on only USMF legal entity. So for this, in the buying legal entity is showing only USMF legal entity. So let me add one more legal entity for the Sarah. So here I change the entity to USRT. Employment start date we set that as a yesterday. Okay, and create employment. So now Sarah has the employment history of USMF legal entity and USRT legal entity. So let me refresh this form. Okay, let me delete this purchase requisition and again create a new. Let me add line where I select Sarah. Yeah, so now this time if I created a new purchase requisition, it's showing their updated information. So now you can see that we have option of USRT legal entity and USMF legal entity for the same requester. So if Sarah want to create purchase requisition from the USRT legal entity, you can select the USRT legal entity. So currently I am selecting only USMF legal entity. Yeah, so we have added our USMF legal entity. Let's, so instead of category we'll add the item number. So let me yeah, so in the item number we can't see any item, but under USMF legal entity we have multiple items, but system is still unsure any item on the purchase requisition. So it's happening because we don't configure any item in the USMF legal entity with a proper procurement categories. So if you remember, we have already discussed about the procurement category and category association in our product information management playlist. So we need to assign the proper procurement category for the product, so then this product will be visible in the purchase order level. So let me move to the release product. So under product information management we click on the release product. So let's say we are procuring the computer items for our office. So we have assigned the category for the keyboard, yeah, 2 keyboard, mouse and the webcam. So let's add the product categories. We click on this product category. Here we select a new. This is our office supply. So we have created one office supply as a procurement category. Yeah, so this one is office supply, and here we select option as a, let's say, computer, and save this. If you want to know about how to create a product category and how to do the role association for the procurement and sourcing module or procurement category, you can check out our video in the product information management, and I'll add this video in our I button, so you can click on this I button and check out that video also. So I just go back and assign the same category to all other 3 options. The last one is a C004 live cam. Okay, so here. Okay, I save this. Again go to our purchase requisition. So let me delete this requisition and create a fresh purchase requisition for the update item PR for supplies. On OK. So here we click on this add line, again change the requester. Okay, yeah, so now you can see that our C001, C002, C003, C004, the whole office stuff is now visible in the line level. So I have selected the C001. So we have selected item, we have our product name is automatically come. Here we have another option, like you can directly click on the add line and select the product category also. Sometimes what happen, requester requested for the item which is not there in the system, or it's not released in the release product. So that time preparer can directly select here the product category and mention here the product name. So for example, I'll show you the example for that also. Okay, I'll just remove this line, add this line. So I have added the Sarah in the legal entity. I have changed to USRT. Okay, so this time instead of selecting the item number, for example, I'm assuming that I am not aware about the item number or the item is not there in the system. So in the electronics computers, I have selected the computer accessories. Okay, so here instead of selecting item number for all the specific keyboard, mouse and all the things, I have just selected the computer accessories, and here I mentioned the keyboard. So we are procuring the item for Sarah. I am as a preparer, Sarah is the requester. They are requesting from the USRT legal entity, and here we select the procurement category as a computer accessory, and in the product name we have set the product name as a keyboard. So the next option is a unit, so I have requested for 10 units. Okay, here I select each as a unit. Here in the unit price you can see that the unit price is blank for the categories, because our unit price setup is blank. Even we add the item number for a specific product category, still system show the unit prices is blank. We have add the C001 for the keyboard. Their prices are set in the product level, but we have not enabled the configuration. So we will discuss all the things in our next episodes when we discuss about the purchase requisition policies. So this is a very big topic, so we are not include this topic in this episode. We are go with the basics, so we'll discuss all the things in the policy episode. Here we request for the quotation. So request for quotation is your for 10 quantity for each different vendor. So we are finally selecting the vendor. So for now, here we have the option of request for quotation. This option is only enabled when we requested for the quotation. Here we are know about our vendor, so we are directly selecting our vendor account for now. If you are don't aware about your vendor and you are requested for quotation to 10 different vendor, then this time you will select this request for quotation option. So in that condition you are requested for the vendor for the prices or for the quotation. Vendor send your prices, you select one of your vendor prices, then this will automatically flow from the PR document to the purchase order, and this prices will be go auto populated from RFQ document. This is another scenario. We will create a different episode for request for quotations. So for now we are just discuss about the purchase requisition. So for now I am selecting the 1001 as a vendor and save this option. Yeah, so now our vendor name is auto populated. Here I am assuming that 1001 is our vendor. If you're not aware about the vendor, you can go for the request for quotation. So for now we click on this workflow, submit this workflow. Here we send a comment as please approve this PR. Okay, click on the submit. Now we have set our user as a approver for this purchase requisition workflow. So let's wait for some time, just refresh this one, check the purchase workflow history. Let me refresh this. Yeah, so our workflow is processing now. It's in creation state, so let's wait for some time to. So let's refresh this. Yeah, so now our purchase requisition is approved now, but our status is still it's in approved state. We need to close this purchase requisition. So the status of the purchase requisition is after approval, sometimes it's showing approved, and some scenarios or some user it's showing close. This is happening because of our setup for the setup of the purchasing policies. We have set the purchasing policies to manually release this purchase order from this purchase requisition. So in short, when your purchase order is released from the purchase requisition, so in that case your status of the purchase requisition is closed. So currently we have not released any purchase order for this purchase requisition, so that's why it's showing approved. So to release this purchase order from this purchase requisition, we need to again move to the procurement and sourcing. Under procurement and sourcing we have status like release approved purchase requisition. So we need to close this button. So here you can see that our purchase requisition is there 0039, which we have created for electronics category. So we need to manually release the purchase order for this purchase requisition. So we need to click on this purchase order. So as soon as I click on this purchase order button, this will take a couple of seconds. Yeah, so now a purchase order release approved purchase requisition list is closed. So we have successfully released this purchase order. So we again move to our purchase requisition, open this purchase requisition again, refresh this page. Yeah, so now you can see that our status of this purchase requisition from approved to closed. In the information, just close this one. In the related document, you can see the purchase order which are released from this purchase requisition. So our purchase order is 1368 is released for the USRT legal entity, because the purchase requisition is a global form but the purchase order is legal entity specific. So currently, if for example if we have USMF or USRT legal entity, both two lines, then two separate purchase order will get released. One is for the USRT legal entity and one is released for the USMF legal entity. So if you want to release this, once you approve this workflow, you don't want to manually release this purchase requisition for purchase order, you can also set the automatic PO release options. Like whenever the purchase requisition workflow is approved, automatically it's changed from in review to close and the purchase order is released. So to configure this setup, I'll show you that setup also. So you can configure if you have any requirement for automatic release the PO from the purchase requisition. So I just click on this purchase requisition, procurement and sourcing module. We have purchasing policies. Under policy we have purchasing policies. Just open this policy. Here we need to create a purchasing policy for each legal entity. So we are opening the USMF legal entity. Under USMF legal entity, you need, so in this purchase order creation, demand consideration, you click on here in the effective option. So here in the manual purchase order creation, we set automatic create a purchase order release. So this toggle need to be enabled. In your case we have enabled this toggle, but we have not activate this purchasing policies in our USMF legal entity, so that's why it's not automatically released. We need to manually release. So if you have any requirement for automatic release the purchase order or create a purchase order from PR, so you can enable this option. So that's it for this video. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you have any questions, you can ask me that question in the comment section. So stay tuned with us and thank you for watching.